I recently had someone ask me a very interesting question, and the question was, how do you deal with difficult managers? This is interesting because I don't have the answer to that, but what I have is the steps that I've been teaching with regards to personal development. In one of the videos, I spoke about being able to understand the things you can change and the things you can't, the things you have control over and the things you don't. You don't have control over somebody else and somebody else's behavior. You have control over your reactions and how you choose to deal with the situation. So taking that into account, I was able to give them some advice. And the main thing is making sure that you as an individual take responsibility for what you're supposed to be doing. Managers are humans, managers are like normal people, and there's different management styles. You might have a manager that you just don't see eye to eye, or their way of working, their way of communicating is not the same as yours. So you need to focus on your own communication and clarity. Being in a position to make sure that you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. You're making sure that your part of the deal has been met. And if the problem persists after that, then you can speak to other managers, you can speak to somebody else, you can seek further help. The main thing I would say is make sure you're protecting your mental health and your well-being. A place of work plays a big part on your well-being and your mental health. So you need to ensure that it's not a place that every time you think about going to work, you're stressed, you're anxious, and you just feel so overwhelmed. That's not what work should be. But unfortunately, there's a lot of people that have to face that as part of their job, and it should not be because of a manager. So think about this and think about, is it something you're doing? Is it something you're not doing? Or is it just their management style that's not correct for you? What you need to take into account is whether you stay at this job or you go to another job or leave because of your manager. You might go to a new place and find a similar manager. Then how do you deal with that? You can't keep moving from job to job to job. So as you're working on your personal development, it's important to think about the things you can change and the things you can't change. Make sure that you're not the problem. You're not the reason why this manager's behaving like that. Because once you eliminate yourself as not the problem, it becomes a bit easier to understand that maybe this is just how they are. Maybe this is just how they manage. And I don't like their management style, but I still have to just do my work and avoid having to deal with them all the time. It's a lot of what can I do? How do I cope with this? How do I deal with this? But you have to take that accountability for yourself. And as I said, there's some managers who maybe they're just people, they're not nice people, therefore they're just not nice managers. But you need to allow yourself to express this and communicate with other people and not suffer in silence. The worst thing you can do for yourself and for your growth is suffering in silence, because that's not going to help your situation, and most importantly, it's not going to help your productivity. And if your productivity is not good, then that gives more reason for your manager to speak to you and want to micromanage you. And that's not what you want. Whilst you're building yourself, building your career, you really want to get to a place where you're able to manage yourself. You manage your time, you're able to manage your productivity, and you're able to manage the goals that you set for yourself for work. There's a reason why you work at this workplace. There's a reason why you've chosen this company. You need to make sure you always remember that, and don't let somebody else get in the way and move you from your goal or the reason why you joined the organization. I understand working with managers that are not really great. I've been there, but I spoke up and I was able to get the help that I needed. I was able to move to a different manager. So if you don't speak up for yourself, if you don't look out for the signs, if you don't take action to work with what you can change, because you can't change the person, you can't change the manager. You can only change yourself and find ways to make it better for yourself. And most importantly, find ways to make sure that you're still doing the best you can do at the organization. But if it comes to the point where you can't deal with it and it's affecting your mental health, it's affecting your well-being, then you do need to think about maybe moving. But this is just a conversation I was having with somebody. I hope it helps you as well if you've been in the same situation or facing the same thing. If you've got any questions, do drop them in the comments, and I will see you on my next video.